Tyler Rivers, and professional boxer. 6 fights and 5 wins.
And just to start wherever from the very start, what was your first memory of boxing?
Um, I started boxing when I was 10, and then I started to take it more serious around the age of 11. Having 56 amateur fights throughout my amateur career for L Short and ABC. And then I turned pro at the age of 22. So yeah.
What really sort of took you to boxing and say obviously the 56 amateur fights, and you did it for nearly, well, just over 9 years at that point. And what sort of like made you fall in love with boxing or enjoy it?
Uh, I'm not quite sure, to be honest, mate. I think I just enjoy having a fight. Just the violence of it, mate. That's it. That's enough for me.
Yeah, and what was your family's thought when you turned over pro and you were looking to go into this game, sort of like to make a career out of it? Did your family have any reservations or?
No, not really, mate. Yeah, it's just I knew I wanted to do it, and no one was going to stop me, regardless of anyone's opinion, mate. That's always what I've been wanting to do. Since I was at school, I knew I was going to leave school and someday become a professional fighter. So yeah, that was always on the cards for me, man.
So obviously, was there any sort of inspirations that you had at the gym when you were growing up, or was there any sort of like fighters that you looked up to and thought, yeah, I want to be like him, or
Yeah, so can't remember around what time, but I've always trained with the likes of Sam Bowen, Kyle Haywood, Callum Blockley, all them sort of names, and they all went on to turn pro a few years before I did. So I was sort of still having amateur fights, knowing that if I put a bit more graft in, then I can get to where these lads are now. So yeah,
what was it like? Was it good having that influence around the gym, thinking that sort of that's where you could get to, and that's the part that you sort of you have a place to look up to and look forward towards.
yeah, definitely, because it gives you it makes you know that it's possible. Do you know what I mean? I watched Sam Bowen win the British title as well, so it gives lads from around our area hope and sort of yeah, inspiration that it can be done. So regardless of anything else, though, I knew like one way or another I was going to get there, and I will get there. So yeah.
And then coming just off of the last of your last fight, came off of obviously a loss. How was that sort of? How did you react, and how you reacted in general to that, and how does that feel now?
Uh, I'd say it's probably the best thing that's happened to me boxing wise. Funnily enough, I think it was an hard fight, but I needed that fight to show me that I don't know, man. I think it's just gave me a bit of a kick up the arse, and I train twice as hard now. Even while I've been injured, I've been training non-stop still. So yeah, just taking it a lot more serious and not taking anyone lightly. So I know that every opponent I face now, I'll face them head on and try my hardest for. So
Your mindset sort of changed towards the fact that sort of no one's a step over in this game. No one can go towards it, and you can sort of, as you said, you training harder, taking it a bit more seriously. Was that a case that you sort of maybe even slacked in your last fight, or was it more just the fact that you have now got the mindset ready for it?
um, I've always trained hard, so I don't think I slacked. Uh, I don't know, man. I think I just maybe I wasn't quite prepared for what he had to bring, but nevertheless, I'll make sure next time I'm prepared for whatever comes, man. It was a dogfight, to be fair. I should have boxed him rather than standing at it with him, but do these things, man. And I think that's what shows my character, man. And I remember on that night, everyone was saying that that's the best fight they've watched all night. So and there was a couple of title fights on that night as well. So I'm obviously doing something right if people are telling me that my fight was the best that they'd seen. So
Yeah, it's always a good sign as well that even in a loss that you can be one of the more entertaining fights on the night, and that can show and probably helps with ticket sales in general.
yeah, definitely, man, 100%. I think like yeah, even on that night, people were saying like people that hadn't bought tickets off me, they were saying like definitely want to come watch you next time. Do you know what I mean? So definitely encouraged a few people to look into me a bit more. And that's what I want to do.
And on that note, how has been selling tickets? Has it been sort of a difficult period, or have you had quite a lot of support since
Yeah,
May?
I have a quite a lot of support to be honest. Normally I do around 100 tickets each show. I've even took 100 people over to Newark as well when I boxed there. Don't get me wrong, it's another job in itself, another part of boxing that you don't really need. Well, you do need, but you don't really need the stress of it. Um, but you have to do what you have to do, and I'm prepared to grind my way up from the bottom to get to the top. Hopefully, on the big shows on TV, mate. So yeah, I'll do whatever it takes, man.
Yeah, I think it's something that people outside of the sport don't really recognise a lot. That alongside obviously doing the training, the hard graft, the eating, and all that, and all the nutrition, that alongside it, you've got to be essentially a salesman for yourself,
Yeah, yeah,
enough to get you onto bigger shows and more shows. And I think people just sort of take for granted a little bit more on what people are doing on these undercards of these bigger shows, especially.
yeah, man.
And then going on to your next fight, what have you got planned? Is there any updates, or have you got any ideas on what could be next, or what you're going into?
So at the minute, I'm currently injured, man. I dislocated my shoulder back in May sparring. So I've been doing my rehab for that. And to be fair, like right now, I'm feeling the strongest and fittest I've ever felt. So I'm hoping next year now, because I don't want to rush into it and get injured again. But I think next year, hopefully early next year, I'll be ready to go again, man. So nothing lined up as of yet, but whatever comes, I'll take it, mate, and just start kicking on again.
Just trying to keep ticking over it, make sure the shoulder's fully healthy. Have you been back to sparring, or is it now you're easing yourself back into that eventually?
Uh, yeah, no, yeah, no sparring as of yet, mate. Just bags and pads sort of thing. So I've been doing plenty of swimming, running, weight training, my physio exercises. So I'm ticking all the boxes, mate. Just there's no need to sort of get back into sparring. I've not really got a date yet. So yeah,
Has it been quite
as
difficult?
much as I want to, mate.
Yeah, I was going to say, has it been quite difficult because obviously doing that from 11 years old, you've essentially been sparring for best part of a decade or over a decade now, and then that having that taken away due to injury, and then not being able to fight in general. How